Live on YouTube now. I didn't realize we weren't live before, but try to get people in here. Yeah.
Cool. What is going on, everybody? If you're watching on YouTube, we're just waiting for a few people to fill in here. Alright, guys, looks like there's only 2 spots left here. Up and we're full.
Jackson, that is a wild name to be pulling into this chat. Just throwing that out there. Looking at it real quick.
That's crazy.
Now let's get into it. I let the people know on TikTok that we were focusing up. Let's get this mock draft rolling. We got Jackson taking on the 101 here. Looks like everybody's live. We've got somebody willing to get us canceled here live on stream. We love it. So let's run it. This is going to be a good one. I'm excited.
Let's go. The draft has officially begun. I'm on the clock with the CMC pick.
There we go. All right. We got everybody active outside of Icy Trey. Icy Trey might be AFK.
But it looks like a pretty good active turnout here. Might hopefully only one auto draft team.
We might even be able to do 2 drafts today, honestly.
My Slack messages weren't coming in. Was Grant just not able to do this one?
I have no idea. It sounds like he's coming back from a dentist appointment.
Okay.
Am I still high on Estime? Yeah, I'm still high on the guy. I think something that is being overlooked is the fact that like both of those players, realistically, like him and Ray Davis, were being looked at how they're going to utilize in the receiving game. So I'm still high on him. I'm willing to see how he plays out through the whole entire season. That's just kind of how we look at it. At the end of the day, I'm not confident in Javonte. We don't need to win in week 1. We need to win in week 17.
This is facts.
Icy Trey active with Jamar Chase, the 107. That's a fun start.
Deal, yeah. Yeah, so maybe Puka is falling a little bit because I was talking to a dude in the Discord who got him at 2.07.
Yeah, you can get him in crazy spots in some drafts. So, like, as you guys know, I'm more of a Puka guy than I am an A.J. Brown guy. I like the scheme set up more. I think Garrett Wilson is also a great pick here, realistically. Like, these are my 2 priorities if I get locked out of the running backs I really like, which typically fall here. So I go towards Puka. Not concerned about Gibbs' injury. There's a little report already out saying that he's going to be available for week 1. That's why you buy the fear-based dips, so you can get some really crazy teams when people are overreacting because we have no idea.
Do you think, like on the kind of like the flip side of that, you could ship David Montgomery for like sort of a bag right now if you wanted to?
As long as, yeah, if you can figure out somebody that's like freaking out about it, I definitely would.
Like I would be trade the guy with Gibbs, David Montgomery, and like like a 12th round wide receiver.
No, literally, like that's all I've kind of been like trying to buy for people. It's just like take the really good player that like falls to you more often than not, and like kind of see how it goes. Like I don't know, you can just sell like. There's just a lot of good options. Like why are all the Bills receivers going undrafted? Like we were projecting Josh Allen to still throw for at least 26 touchdowns this year. Like.
I thought you were about to get blessed with Gibbs, right?
I thought I was too. I was trying to be quiet about it.
I knew you were.
It's what it is. All right. With that said, this is a stack I really like to point people towards because we talk a lot about week 17 correlation. Achon is another guy I really like here. He's not going to get back to me in this draft room, so I'm fine talking about it. But Marvin Harrison, like we've talked about how much I love Puka. We talked about how much I like Marv realistically. Even though I'm more cautious with Marv's kind of outlook for the season, that doesn't mean that he can't be the guy that just destroys slates in week 17 and the playoff window because we're looking for that late season smash with a lot of these rookies. Like I don't need Marv to be a league winner out the gate. I need him to be a league winner at the end. And that's kind of what I'm looking at for that pick. And he has the upside based off of the profile to do it out the gate as well. Just unfortunately that doesn't always happen. So I like to stack Puka versus Marv. I think it's a very fun way to kind of opt myself for the weekend and also get two very high usage guys at the beginning of my drafts. Half PPR, what am I drafting? I'm prioritizing at 108. I'm still aiming for Bijan. I really don't treat half PPR that drastically different from full PPR. The reason that I don't like overthink it is because somebody who's won multiple best balls goes by the name of Liam Murphy, and he talks about like one of his fatal mistakes on Underdog that year was he had Cooper Kupp a lot lower in his half PPR rankings than he did his full PPR. And I mean, it's just like I just don't want to take that chance. I can see the difference, but it's really not that crazy. I like getting early quarterbacks. I like getting early tight ends in these formats as well for home leagues. So running back, yes. If I can get Bijan specifically, that's what unfortunately not always able to do that. I feel like that's early for Kenneth Walker.
I think I might take a little swing here with Debo.
That's fun. That's a little game stack as well.
Yeah.
Love that. High usage game stacks. All right, let's see here. Bijan and Allen. Fun.
Yeah, that's an interesting start. Here. So Nico, I've heard word that Nico Collins is kind of looking like the somewhat clear number one wide out there. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably is. But I just look at it from like a fantasy production standpoint by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And there's been nothing but a hype train for Nico this year. And he could very well be like the next big thing. But I've yet to hear somebody outside of me say something positive of Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. That's actually true.
So it's like, I don't know, like just points work weird. We saw Stephon Diggs be a top 10 receiver the past 4 years, and we saw Tank Dell outproduce Nico Collins when they played in the games together.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Nico Collins is going to be in a great role. Like, that's why I tell people not to fade him. Yeah. Like, he's still probably going to smash. But
fun start for Haybot here with Breece, London, and Waddle.
What does he go for here?
Sam, Ayuk and Olave are falling hard right here.
They are. What does Chick-fil-A do? Chick-fil-A me, Chick-fil-A do.
Nice.
I'll just take falling receiving values.
Totally. That was a good spot too for Olave. That's pretty deep fall.
Like, I have no problem trying to figure out running backs and just hammering home receiving talent in PPR formats. Because it's like, it's just a guessing game on who's going to move each week realistically.
Yeah.
We have no idea. And taking guys with a lot of target potential is always fun. And worst case scenario, I could probably trade out in most leagues if I need to.
Yeah.
That's always an option that people underrate is you can trade out if you need to. You just got to have league mates that are willing to trade with you.
Which is sometimes a challenge.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting, though. So I'm curious to see how I even play the running back on this. So I basically got blocked out of a lot of fun things. All right. You're trying to get in the next one? Sounds good. We'll do another one because I imagine Grant's going to want to pop in here. So we'll do 2 mock drafts today. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the page if you aren't already. And that way you'll also be right on time every single time for one of these drafts that we do. All right. Jalen Hurts went there. Damn. I was hoping he was going to fall. All right. Patty Mahomes goes. That's no fun. Booper Bop goes. That's a great pick. All right. I'm going to take my chances with Rachaad White here.
Booper Bop.
I don't really like Rachaad White too drastically, but like there is a great upside where he is in the Kyren Williams role in this offense, and I need running back points at this point. I can still punt for receivers, but as you guys know, there's a lot of receivers I'm willing to take swings on later in drafts. Rachaad White, I think, should be fine.
I feel like Rachaad and Mixon are pretty much like the only 4th round options that like getting what could end up being a 3-down back.
Yeah, it's like he's going to year 3, and it's like, what do we see? How can we join the draft, Keem? You'll have to top into the next one, my friend. we will get that one prepped up. I'll have Grant make the lobby for that one once he's up and running here.
All right. Who am I going to get? If this goes right for me, I'm going to be a very happy guy.
Been looking everywhere. No, I don't have a full PPR ranking. I just kind of chat through the guys I like and dislike and how I kind of shift my rankings with new data each week. Ain't got no
Okay,
confidence.
so I wanted DK there. Oh well.
No. Oh well. Interesting. Are you to draft a QB in home half regular league? I mean, honestly, realistically, where Josh Allen went is technically fine. I would kind of encourage the third be the spot where I would buy my like great quarterback, but that's just my 2 cents on it. Grant says he's in this one too. He says, guess which one?
Oh, he's what?
That'd be crazy.
Is he the OnlyFans one?
That's what I'm wondering. I was gonna say that'd be wild to come into this as with Grant.
Yeah.
I say Pulisic is Tuka Doncic, so he's not that one.
Definitely not the auto draft one.
Yeah.
Go Hawkins.
That's what I'm wondering. Is it like that one then? That's like it's gotta be Churley or like Go Hawkins, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Heisman?
I feel like Go Hawkins is screaming Grant.
I can see it. I can see the vision.
Oh, is it? Oh, no, never mind.
We're gonna try to PPR scam, I think, our way out of this. What's the question?
Come on, Chicoli.
Would impact Jeff? No, I don't think McCarthy's going to be a concern for that at all. So in my drafts, we're going to be a little bit more bold and try to keep it to like actual ADP. Rice normally goes around this in like actual drafts with sharp people. He doesn't even go close to this ADP. So I'm just taking the PPR scam out of this. So it's like, I don't know, my receiving room looks kind of crazy from a week-to-week basis. I'm kind of screwed at running backs, but I'm confident I can find points to make up for that over time to get me to a later part of the kind of league. That's what I'm looking at when I kind of go receiver heavy here is like, how do I build myself to these running backs that realistically are going to break out at the back half of the season? Because it's like, I'm not really confident in a player, Rachaad White, but like he could prove me wrong. So I'm willing to take him. But like when I go receiver heavy, that becomes more of my logic is like, I just need basis points at this point. And I need to be really strong in other parts of the draft. So it's like quarterbacks I'm more interested in building around, tight ends, etc. But let's see how this all plays out.
See where Pulisic is going.
Scary Terry.
Love to see it.
It's my turn.
As well.
All right. So if George Kittle gets traded, then I want him here. But if not, I would go with Kyler for what it's worth because I like early mobile quarterbacks. Actually, I'm gonna go with Kyler regardless. Gives me a stack as well with Marv
Yeah, and you
that
just
game.
it always hurts to miss that
Yeah.
QB drop off right after Kyler.
This is a fun start.
Yeah, definitely. And when you were talking about Kittle, you said you want Kittle if he gets traded. Did you mean IU when
Ayuk gets traded? Yeah. If Ayuk gets traded, then I want Kittle. If he doesn't, then I could realistically care less.
Yeah.
Would I rather have Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels? Caleb Williams. Take on Jacoby Myers, really underrated receivers. Gibbs ACL thoughts. I don't think he's got an ACL, Doug. Stop fear mongering in the chat. Damn you, Doug. Damn you.
What's up, Doug?
Let's see here.
Oh my God, that reach for Deontay Johnson makes me mad.
It's good pick. Good pick.
It's a good pick.
Ben Sinat's going to be behind Zach Ertz in Washington. Ooh.
Wow, that's crazy. Is that
strategy?
Grant? Yeah.
I feel like he wants me to flame his team if that's Grant. All right. Well, the picks get delayed out here. See what's going on in the world of Twitters. Why is HN trending? Nope. No reason.
There we go. Pretty happy with that turn. I was hoping Ramondre would fall to me because I just wanted to. I go Zamir White as my running back too in these types of situations way too much.
We'll probably do it in a week or so. Wicked Pompano. I've got to set up the league for that. I've also got to just do a lot of math, which is fun. Just a lot of weird math. It's most likely not getting suspended this year. Yeah, that's what I've been saying, Matt. I've been saying Rashee Rice will not get suspended, and you need to buy the discount while you can.
Here. That video of LeBron listing off tight ends is so funny.
That's crazy.
Great Kyle Pitts.
The great Kyle Pitts. What do you mean great, LeBron?
Yeah.
Tell Jackson to read YouTube chat. Yeah, I read that one. We'll get that one going. We'll cook your little ass, Doug. I'm assuming you're Wicked Pompano.
Wait, no, I think Wicked Pompano is somebody else, right?
Is it? I don't know. I'm assuming that's the one that like Doug sounds like. That sounds like Doug.
I remember that username though.
I could be wrong. Doug is a man of many names.
True.
He's like the person from Game of Thrones with no face.
Grand Small.
Grand Small. Classic.
That was classic. Pulisic went with Xavier Worthy there. Interesting. Where is Wells going to go here? I think Wells is going to go DeAndre Hopkins, maybe.
There's just so much stuff down the board. It's crazy. So it's like, what is the technical, like, most optimal strategy? I was looking at Zamir for, like, just straight up points to have each week.
Yeah, that would have. I didn't even see he was going.
Javonte is technically a great pick. Like, Like that, I won't lie, Javante. I'm just not a Javante guy. I will live and die by the Estime Stoid. But we're gonna go with BTJ.
Nice.
Hopefully, he emerges as the wide receiver one in Jacksonville, taking more swings on receiver. We're greedy, but mainly because I like taking a chance to see if I can get a ridiculous amount of wide receiver ones for each team. Because then people have to trade me. Like I like to try to see if I can force myself to be in a position where people have to trade with me as well.
Yeah, then you're sitting pretty.
Well, because this is how I look at it. It's like if I fail, we all fail.
Damn, when did the OnlyFans account go auto?
I don't know, man. They've just been out of here, I guess. I think it was like the Evan Ingram pick is when it happened.
Damn. Hey, Bob.
Oh, they're back online.
Oh, let's go.
They had to do a quick shoot. Wasn't a long scene for them. God, I'm awful. I'm canceling myself for that one.
Yeah, that's crazy. Come on, go Hawkins. You keep snaking my receivers. That's Grant. I feel
That's
like
definitely
because
good.
I feel like they're because they're doing that.
He didn't respond to that one when I wrote it in our chat as well, so I'm assuming that's Grant.
Yeah.
For those watching expecting another mock draft, probably not going to do that, to be honest, because we do have to do our UFC pod after this.
True.
And I would like a little break to do the video I promised everyone today of Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson projections.
Nice. Oh my God! Took my auto draft. Sweet. Well, I know I want Romeo Dubs, and I don't really care about reaching for him.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about reaching too drastically with sleeper ADP. I just kind of get the correct picks. Because it's like, if we're going by sleeper ADP, we probably would have missed out on Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
We probably would have missed out on Deontay Johnson, etc. Like, I do think, like, with receivers, it's probably a little bit more important to look at, like, I'll just create a draft chart, I guess, of where just this shit's drastically wrong. Al says, thank you. You got fifth pick this year. You think that's an okay spot? Yeah, it's a more than fun spot, Joey. You're probably going to win. Just take Bijan, and we'll build from there.
Yeah, I love the fifth pick, like fourth, fifth pick so much, like where you barely don't have to reach at all for.
Let's just say you don't have to reach too much, and people won't question it drastically.
Yeah.
No problem, Joey. What do I want to do? Rashee Rice to start. Taking Seattle defense, they play Patriots then Broncos. I feel comfortable against the Patriots. The Broncos one, I actually think the Broncos have a genuine shot at making the playoffs this year. Because it's like Chargers, I honestly think are probably going to be a little bit overrated. And Raiders are kind of, they're right. I don't know. It's a weird team. Long shot, but we'll see. Appreciate the ruses.
Somebody already drafted. Damn, someone took Zach Moss pretty early.
Gus Edwards, league-winning running back.
Nah, dude, it's Dobbins.
I think not. Sorry. Tyja's fun. Brian's in a committee. This is where I'm just going to start taking shots later in the draft. Who else is available?
I don't like that.
Remember, I'm greedy. I don't always encourage drafting like me. This is also me testing out stuff for my own drafts for what it's worth. So you're going to see me take a lot of receivers. But then what will the rest of the draft do then?
Damn, I do like how Hoistman rounded out his running back room. Pretty much set with those four.
Not easy. All right. Can we get this big bagels guy some help? That's definitely Doug.
Get out of here, Doug. I don't need no help. I'm a league winner every mock draft I do, man.
Oh, there's Grantward.
Yo.
What's up, Grant?
Probably just going to do the one mock draft, by the way.
Okay.
Make our lives a little easier. Thank you for setting that up, though.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Time
Well,
to put a
John.
strangle on the draft, potentially.
I don't know why this is my name on my phone, but I've been Icy Trey.
Oh, that's
Okay.
who you were.
I was kind of confused. I'm not going to lie.
We had
All
just Go Hawkins. I don't know. I thought you might have been like referencing some shit.
Or the guy who manually put the OnlyFans logo in his.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, so it's like, why did I take Curtis Samuel? Khalil Shakir is probably going to be a question that people might be asking themselves, whether live now or later, if they decide to watch this later. I want to strangle on the receiver hole. Like, realistically, these are all wide receiver ones for their offenses. So I have three teams' offenses that I'm expecting to be very good this year. Rice, Marv, Puka. I'm confident I took the wide receiver ones in theory. Love that. Now I get to take a 50-50 chance, realistically, more like 67% chance of who's the wide receiver one in Buffalo, because I guarantee you it won't be Keon. So Curtis and Khalil, I like having both sides of that. And then BTJ was out there in two wide
About
receiver
MVS.
slots. Oh, you're right. Or maybe the guy I really need to be adding to my roster here, whereas the speed demon, former top 10 finish, probably isn't making the roster because he's on the IR right now. Chase
I forgot about him.
Chase Claypool. I thought, yeah, Chase is not making that roster, dude.
But I think, especially in a team like this, where realistically you have two flex options that are perfectly fine already, and you're just looking for upside, hedging between those two, like you can't play them both anyway. So if one of them gets hurt or something, and one of them becomes like a clear number one, it's better to have
The opposite.
options towards the end of the roster because you can't play them all anyway.
Exactly. And to me, this just gives me more of an advantage over my league mates. Like, what are the chances that my league mates have these players as well? Because that's
Yeah.
something that I think is a bit underrated in fantasy, is like you can take picks to screw over your league mates. Like I have more than likely the wide receiver one for the Buffalo Bills. I imagine that's also something that somebody else would want. I can probably create a unique trade package with one of these running backs I don't like, considering that the value of one of these receivers will likely skyrocket towards the earlier part of the week, and force a hand on a guy who's just dips because people like somebody might freak out on like Jahmyr Gibbs, for example. They're like, well, he came back and he only had 2 touches. I don't know if it's going to happen. He tore his ACL, I think. Like, I don't know. People do this shit, but you can really get some really good discounts on players. And damn you, Jackson, for taking, like, this is what I mean by screwing other players in the drafts. Like Chuba Hubbard, absolute smash pick. Great job by Jackson, because that's a guy I'm looking at for like later running back value to kind of pay off this risk reward strategy I'm looking at.
If you're Tuka Doncic in this draft and you have Jonathan Brooks, would you have reached on Chuba where you took Chase Brown?
Oh yeah,
or Brian Robinson?
100%. Because I don't want, like, this is a minimum 6 weeks. They're in,
yeah, and it's kind of the same situation like what we were just talking about. Like neither of them are going to start on your team already, so if you can just hedge and have a guaranteed RB1 at some point, like you,
like you want to be playing contingency based bets when you're doing redraft. Like you don't want to be the guy searching waivers. Like that's kind of how like you gotta look at it. So I need to find a running back realistically to take some upside here, because I'm not looking too hot right now. I need some upside. I got some change in my pocket though that I can throw at the wishing well that'll help me out, but it's not looking too hot. It's not looking too hot. So we'll see how it plays out.
All right, now that you're Icy Trey, let me look at your.
This is such a taco mock draft. No Justin Tucker 201. Nah, we take Harrison Butker with a 101. We're real men. Lacrosse going to be at LA 2028 games, bro. You know what to do. Bro, if that's the case, I might just have to get the wand back out and become a wizard. I've already been thinking about what my celebration would be.
Is there a country you think you could technically play for?
Scotland. I'll figure it out. All right, this man signed for like no money, but like I think there's a very real chance that he's the Chargers running back one. So redraft, he's more than a fine pick here. Otherwise, I hate it in every other format. This is the only time this is an acceptable pick today, is redraft.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I could do it. I was thinking about it. I'm like, dude, I haven't hit the celly in a while. But you know, like in Star Wars, where you have Obi-Wan starts like this, and then he transitions to that. It's a goated celly right there.
That is sick.
It's the I'll do what I must.
Come on.
You were the chosen one.
Yeah, let's go there.
All righty.
I always feel like Dallas Goddard is like 35 years old. And then I'm like, oh, he's 27.
He's 27.
Yeah.
All right, wait, quick question. How old do you think Josh Palmer is?
26.
I was going to say 28.
Yeah, he's 25 or
Yeah.
24.
Damn.
Like, it's crazy to me. I had no idea. I thought he was old as hell. And I
Yeah,
looked at
damn.
him like, okay, you're young somehow. So that's a fun kind of pick there. Miso. Hi, Miso.
Do you think he is their receiver one, at least for the start of the season?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Lad McConkey's profile is just so injury laden that it's just like,
Yeah.
as
Much
much
it
as
might take a sec to get in the swing of things.
they're not rushing him at all. Like, I think that's what people are trying to figure out. Like, why didn't he play on whatever? I think they really want to take him carefully. Like, they're really confident he's a glass house. It sounds like, which sucks. But
Oh, you took Rico?
yeah, if he's the running back one, that's a smash. I'm just trying to get as much upside as I possibly can at the end of the draft here. Like, if I really got like screwed, I would probably look towards Jaleel Estime and Ray Davis would be the main guys. Just trying to find as many of these like guys that could ascend into an RB1 spot to get this usage. Because remember, we're just trying to realistically trade out here if we can. Because people will trade league-winning assets out the gate because they want to shift to what they think is right. Like, they'll see one thing go wrong and be like, I didn't understand that was a defensive scheme to take out that player from this game.
Cool. Got to transition off of my both
Listen,
of the receivers I wanted.
Lacrosse and butterfly catching are two elite sports that should go hand in hand, all right? Could you imagine that in the world of Pokemon? Catch all the bugs. Evan McPherson, the first kicker off the board. Casual. Well, that's auto
That
draft.
is a casual pick. Oh, thank God.
What is the auto draft doing? Given that
That's such a
McPherson
wild
this early.
That's a wild pull from the auto draft pool.
Yeah.
See what we're doing here.
Do not knock over my water, Miss Miso, just because you like to plop.
Let's go with Ricky.
Slicky Ricky.
Then I'll go with maybe Jalen Polk here. Yeah, I'll probably do that.
Jalen Poole. Love that upside.
I'm shocked that JJ's out for the entire season with that injury. I feel like that's usually not a season ender.
It's all dependent upon the procedure, I think.
Yeah.
But people are going to overreact to this with Justin Jefferson like crazy. So late tonight, I know what I'm doing. It is a long straw, John. It is a long straw. My girlfriend has converted me to these, whatever they're called, the Stanley mugs. So I'm a basic girl with these things, but I love them.
They're pretty
Keep me
nice.
hydrated. All right, so I need a tight end because I decided to lock myself out. This is going to be fun. All right, so there's a whole plethora of options I look to for tight ends here. If Taysom Hill actually has a great role, I wouldn't mind him. Jonnu's a week-to-week guy. Tyler Conklin's going to get at least 87 targets on this season. I think Greg Dulcich could genuinely lead the Broncos in targets this year. So I do love to. He's my favorite late tight end swing. So if I ever get boxed out, you're going to see me go to him first, and then the guys that I will follow after if I really need someone is Theo Johnson on the Giants, who could be in for a massive year his rookie season, already getting lots of reps with the starters as a receiving tight end. I get to do it. Yes. Finally, I get to be the chosen one.
No. I had
Finally.
a feud, bro.
All right. With that said, so it's like I like Theo, and then the guy who I'm pretty confident is leading the tight ends right now is Kylie Granson over in Indy. So that's another option I look to if I get really cut out because of how often the tight ends are utilizing the schemes. It's just you don't want to get too attached, obviously, to like these late guys. You want to be able to switch very quickly if necessary. And then, like, if you really get stuck in season, we'll look at different defensive schemes that are going to help you. I'd like to imagine find the correct tight end for that weekly matchup. But yeah, all right. Brandon, I honestly kind of want to do a league where you can have like a kick. You have to have a kick returner from a team. I think that'd be pretty fun. It would make the game a lot more dynamic.
We got Young Ho. and I
Young
think we're gonna go TB.
Tampa Bay.
Has there been? I don't think there's been a kickoff return yet, right? Touchdown?
I think there has been a few in the preseason. I could be wrong though, because I want to say Bucky Irving had one.
I feel like that would have been a viral clip.
Maybe. I could easily be wrong. I know the yards are around 30s typically with their return too.
Yeah.
All right. Go Hawkins.
That catch by Dontavian Wicks was crazy, if you guys saw that, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right. Kicker the kicker. All right, let's see. Defense-wise, yeah, the team I just like taking shots on this year. Oh, of course. Damn it. All right, we'll go. I'm pretty sure Worthy and McCole Hardman are taking kicks too. So they're kind of fun. Anyone else that's got a good kick returner? Whittington could be fun on the Rams. I could see them being a little bit schemy. But outside of that, probably just going to go defensive laden. All right, time to go into an analysis. All right, we got Jackson's team here. Love this start here. You got McCaffrey, Laporta, and Debo out the gate. Really fun start, and it's like you have Monday Night Football championship weekend. If I'm playing against you, I'm worried because my opponent has Christian McCaffrey, Laporta, and Debo. At minimum, that's going to be a 60 fantasy point projection. So I would be concerned. Devonta Smith, CJ Stroud. I like these picks, especially contingent-based upside with Devonta Smith. Ramondre, you were just looking for points, I think is what the kind of theory was here. Odunze, Dubs, JMO. We need to hear more about what's going on with JMO. So that there is optimism for this pick, though. And then more contingent-based upside with Ricky, and then Jalen Polk. Love that pick at the end of drafts. Corum, contingent-based upside. Chuba gets 2 points out the gate. Yeah, I think it's a fine team. Ramondre is obviously like a guy I'm not super high on, but yeah, I think it's fine. Moving on, SEMO. Welcome back once again. We got CD, Kenneth Walker. I don't know where Kenneth Walker goes in drafts, but I feel like this was a massive reach, especially compared to where he normally goes. And he's still playing, like, regardless, like, as much as we want to be high on a lot of these players, offensive lines dictate talent more often than not. And considering they are ranked at 31 and you took the guy on who's just getting less and less efficient by the year as your other running back pick, like you gave yourself the 31st and 32nd offensive lines in front of these guys. I don't think that's a good way to build your running back room. I'm telling you guys to be bullish, but like Isaiah Pacheco is a guy that is fine reaching on in this circumstance. because he's a guy going into year 3, year 4 now on a team that we're projecting to be really good, and he could be getting pass catching work. This is a guy to reach on. These two are not. So I would encourage you to go build more towards a hero running back style here rather than reach on these two. With that said, I like the receivers of Tank Dell and Higgins. Marquise Brown's a fun kind of late upside swing, but he should be going a lot later. Not really interested in him. Adonai Mitchell, likely wide receiver 3 on that team. Dotson, not fully confident on his true role. Overall, like, this just isn't a team I'm super interested in at all. Yeah, I like the stack with Dak and CD, but like the picks in general for running back need a little work. They can be fine for fantasy purposes, and this team will probably outproduce what I'm expecting of it. But I just think that this is a little too thin in departments that could go wrong, or too heavy in departments that could go wrong. With that said, I think Jack Rules was on auto draft this whole time. Moving on to Grant's team here, Bijan, Josh Allen, Pacheco. That's a fun start. DK, we really don't know the upside. Let's see.
Wait, this isn't Grant.
No, this isn't Grant.
Icy Trey.
Yeah, he's Icy Trey. I got that.
This had to be somewhat autoed with 2 tight ends right there.
No, they did that on purpose.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Just a stockpile trade.
Trades, I think, is fine. One way to look at it. Best ball, this is a fine strategy, but redraft, I do not recommend. You can just find a lot of other picks in this range. Like, I'd rather reach on a quarterback. I'd rather reach on a receiver. I'm high on a lot of other ways to play this out. Wouldn't really go for Kittle here unless if you knew somebody wanted to trade. Like, you could literally, like, I think this is also fine. If you have league mates that are cool with this and be like, hey, I'll take George Kittle at this pick if you'll take, I don't know, who's somebody like Jaden Reed at this spot for me. Like, that's fine. Let's see here. Jaden Reed, Hopkins, JSN. Love the upside swings for receiver, but you might be a bit too thin. Caleb's fine, but like as we talked about, you really don't need a second quarterback in single QB leagues. And then running backs, contingent-based upside's fine, but Ezekiel Elliott is just dusty as it gets. Overall, fine team, but definitely has things that needs to be improved upon. All right, moving on to Mikey DeRosa. We got Justin Jefferson to Mike Evans, fun start. Derrick Henry, worst pick on the not worst pick on the board, but one of them. Lamar Jackson, you're high on Baltimore, so I see the optimism. Joe Mixon, you don't want to be taking too many bets on these guys that go to new teams, specifically running back. So it's like more than one of these is probably not going to pay off the value, realistically. I think there's good arguments for them to pay off their costs, but like I'd really be cautious with the running backs going to new teams. They tend to look a lot better than they actually perform. And remember, Henry and Mixon were both top 10 last year. 3 to 4 running backs stay inside the top 10 every year, and these guys are both have really good candidacies to just fall off the cliff. Like I was reading, Ryan Heath did his 2024 H Curse article yesterday for free, and Derrick Henry was the predominant guy that was like, this guy is going to hit a cliff and a half this year. But with that said, Deontay Johnson, Ridley, I love the upside. Jacoby Myers, people really underrate his talent, so I really like your receiving room. You're playing for upside for the running backs. I don't mind that. This is probably one of the better ones. So I'd still say Jackson has the best one. But yeah, I like the squad overall outside of going too heavy on like quarterbacks, but I do understand taking a player like Jaden Daniels who could drop 30 fantasy points in week 1. And then all of a sudden you have somebody going like, I'll trade you Jahmyr Gibbs for him because he only gave me 5 points. And it's like, you're an idiot and you take advantage of your idiot league mates. Let's see here. But moving forward, I like the team overall, though. His name just Mikey. Haybot, let's see here. Breece Hall, Drake London, Jalen Waddle. We're playing the projection-based game. I think that's fine. Everybody has their opinion about Trey McBride. I'm lower than market. I think it's fine to be high on him, though. Christian Kirk was not in 2 wide receiver sets, but Greg makes a good point. Oh, I could just be over kind of thinking that one like we did last year. Let's see here. David Montgomery and Gus Edwards. You're looking for somebody else to kind of get there into the red zone for you each week. The only reason I have more concern with the Gus bust these days is because he had like a surgery that Harbaugh didn't even know about. He was just like, wait, what? And that kind of also makes me raise an eyebrow of like, what did you need surgery on right before season? So that's partially why I'm also more willing to take chances on J.K. Dobbins. We'll see how it works out, though. Ultimately, you're just playing for points in the RB2 spot. I think it's fine. You're playing for upside with your receivers. I see the logic for these guys. You're just taking a lot of wide receiver 2s trying to see the contingency-based upside for the wide receiver 1 spot. But remember, Darnell Mooney is not ever going to be able to replicate what Drake London does in the wide receiver 1 role. Like he wasn't able to do that for DJ in Buffalo. I'm not Buffalo for Chicago. I wouldn't expect that in Atlanta either. Xavier Leggett, I don't remember prospect profile wise him being like a high dominant target share guy. Maybe that's something I'm missing on. But yeah, he's probably just gonna be a wide receiver 2 at best. This is like if you want to look at analytical comps, like him and Jonathan Mingo are 1-to-1. For what it's worth. Moving forward though, we got Icy Trey, aka Grant, aka Doug's favorite man. We got Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs. So the Raiders have passed. Neighbors, Anthony Richardson. Love this little game stack that not a lot of people talk about. Like, you want to talk about like a really weird low end game that will probably smash? Giants, Colts, week 17. 2 really bad defenses. And who has one of the worst secondaries in the league? Indianapolis. So I think this could be a really fun spot for fantasy is this game. Love this pairing. With that said, we got DeAndre Swift in Chicago. I think that's fine for hunting points. Nick Chubb, the worst pick on the board. Congratulations. Let's see here. Christian Watson, Josh Palmer, Dontavian Wicks. These are IKB plays, and we talked about handcuffing receivers to try to see if we can get the wide receiver 1. Love that play. Like playing the kind of upside game with Marshawn Lloyd and Jaleel McLaughlin. Overall, another great team here by Grant.
Chubb was just falling a little bit, and my running backs were weaker because I took 3 receivers in the first 4 rounds, so it felt like a swing that I was comfortable taking. But I mean, I understand the concern.
I'd still reach on like any of Javonte Williams, like Zach Moss and Singletary would be my reaches. But moving over to Chickoli here, we've got Amon-Ra, Achane, Ayuk, Pittman. So fun receiving room here. But if Ayuk is somehow a Steeler, he's going in the 7th round. Just because of like the pace and the offense. It doesn't matter how talented you are, how hyper fixated you can put him as like a receiver. It's just a very hard pick to make. James Conner, it's fine. I like the contingency base there. Kyle Pitts and Ferguson. You're hunting a tight end 1. I understand that, but like we don't need to be taking this many swings at tight end. We really don't. But I see the overall kind of strategy for it. Bryce Young. Look, I'm high on Bryce Young. I've talked about how he can probably be a top 12 fantasy quarterback this year, but that's probably wrong. And the reason for that being wrong isn't so much that like in years past he could do it based off the math. It's more due to the fact that he doesn't run. And what do we have a lot in this class? We have mobile quarterbacks. Weird stat, but and I don't try to tout this too much because it's dumb, especially when you look at it from a macro stance. But like, Bo Nix has more rushing touchdowns in college than Jaden Daniels did. You have Caleb Williams, who's got great rushing upside. You have Jaden Daniels, who's got a projected receiving line, I think, higher than both Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. Like, there's a lot of guys that just go super late and undrafted at times. Like, Drake May is supposed to be Josh Allen 2.0. Like, there's a lot of mobile talent you can get at very end of draft to take swings on. I know you hate, like, everybody hates when I say this, but Daniel Jones, week 1 and week 2, if late Neighbors is healthy, is probably going to be a smash. So I'd rather take a chance on that than Bryce Young here. Especially if I have 0 correlation ties to Bryce Young. But overall, I think it's a fine team. I'm not sure how much of this was auto-drafted.
We have a question here. If Ayuk is a Steeler, what's the highest you would take Debo? I don't know about the highest, but I think where Jackson took him is good value.
He goes here.
Where's
Debo goes here in the later part
in the
of
first round?
Yeah, he's a first. It's not even close. Let's see here. Moving over my draft. So the thing that I talked about in here is like my running backs. I clearly need to make that better. But what we talked about with the strategy here was like we're fine taking as many shots as wide receiver 1s as possible because the reality is everybody needs wide receiver 1s to produce consistent fantasy points. Because when you have guys getting a target every 1 in 4 times and you have like 8 of those on your roster, that means that there's 24 of those that aren't available for other people. Or there's only 24 of those available for other people. Like you have 33% of the pool of those guys. So it's like I want to be trying for as much of that as possible. Obviously, you can't, like, that's not going to happen when I have 2 Buffalo receivers. It's more like 7 out of 32. But like ultimately, the logic is get as many of these good receivers, and then I can realistically launch a bad running back that I'm not as high on, paired with one of these guys, and get one of these more elite running back options more often than not. You want to try to build your way up if you can. And remember, running backs are realistically just big contingency-based bets. So if you're not getting like these elite prospects like a Gibbs, like a Kyron, well, you can't really even say Kyron's elite prospect, but like Brees, Bijan, McCaffrey, like one of these guys, you want to be playing the contingency game because like there are things that are going to fall your way. It's just how the game works, no matter how we want to play it. Hoisman, Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs. You got Gibbs to follow you. That's a fun start. Diggs, Cup, Pickens, I think it's fine. Pickens is just a volume concern I really don't like. Keenan Allen, one of the more weirder enigmas of fantasy football this year. 20 pounds overweight in theory. That's reports at least. We'll see how that actually comes to fruition. If I were Hugh here, I would have considered taking Tajay over Jerome, honestly. No, Tajay went a little bit earlier. That's why. Brock Purdy's a fine pick, but you have nothing tying to him, so I don't get this pick actually. Like you just want to be taking pocket passing quarterbacks, at least in my personal opinion, with like just the receivers attached to them if you can. I think the running backs you took here are really sharp. Realistically, you got a lot of good points there, but your receiving room is going to need help. Like I guarantee, at least 2 of these values are just absolutely awful, and you're going to be really annoyed with it. Rashid Shaheed, fun kind of contingency bet for best ball, but that's about it. And then Lockett, I think his career is basically over. Like you can only do so much, man. He's 31 years old. Like he's being phased out is what it is. Still great. He took care of his body for a very long time, but like I wouldn't be counting on that week to week. So we got the OnlyFans model here at the end. AJ Brown and Saquon, fun little packing there. Don't mind that at all. Nico, Mahomes, Amari Cooper. So in the article by Ryan Heath, he basically said between one of Amari Cooper or Stephon Diggs is going to basically be like a 5 fantasy point per game player this year. So just keep that in mind when you are drafting these two. So as much as I might be high
they're looking at to determine that?
I will go into my video and I'll explain it to you. But basically, he just points out that it's just like some sort of weird thing that you see specifically like with their metrics that he's just like the season after they hit this, like they just are nothing anymore. But I will send you the exact spot so you can read it for yourself. Because I think now the article is behind a paywall. But let's see. With that said, yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be worked on here. Schultz is a fine contingency-based bet, but you need something with better week-to-week volume than Schultz. And there's better bets on the board than that. With that said, wait, wrong team. I'm an idiot. Back onto the right team here. Aaron Jones, fun kind of early part. Austin Eckler. Honestly, I might be wrong on him. We'll see. I'm just a big Brian Robinson guy. Yeah, don't need to go 2 tight ends. We talked about that there. Yeah, I just a lot of things that are going to go wrong with this team, I can tell. And, oh, wait, I talk about Nick Chubb being the worst pick on the board. No, it's always going to be QJ. We hated him last year. We hate him again this year. It will consistently be the worst pick in fantasy. I like how people are just like, well, sometimes coaches who get burned by a player or whatever always remember want to use them. And that was the whole Harbaugh thing initially with Quentin Johnson that people were trying to throw me. And I'm like, I think Harbaugh is just going to look at this kid.
Because he played well against him in college?
Yeah, that's what people were trying to sell me on.
Yeah, can't really do much about not being able to catch a ball at the end of the day. Like,
yeah, and I'm just like, I don't think that's going to help him. So DJ Chark stonks if you want a guy that's playing X for them this year. With that said, looking at, yeah, I mean, you're just going to find nothing but solid builds from Pulisic, so I don't really have much to say there. But with that said, that's really all I kind of got on the teams here. I'll let Jackson and Grant touch on anything if they want or ask any questions. And
yeah, I think something to keep in mind that we touched on a lot during this one is just that taking swings. Like if you're in a league that's this size, obviously people are in bigger leagues where then you kind of have to be more careful and just take anything that you think could possibly be a starter at any point during the season and just kind of stockpile those guys. But in a league like this, with this format where you have picks that aren't ever going to realistically play, but they're still good players, it's better to combine those assets into one potential starter than just take kind of random shots. Like it's better to be calculated with those type of things.
100%. Also, what I would say too is, I mean, just I kind of want to emphasize, especially for people drafting earlier in August, like the early RBs, late RBs strategy. It's like in one day we saw Jahmyr Gibbs with an ACL scare. We saw Tyrone Tracy carted off the field. So it's like getting that one like big RB early and then like, you know, trying to find those sleepers late in the draft. I feel like is the way to do it here, middle out with receivers.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you're going to get stuff wrong. We're going to get plenty of stuff wrong. Like there's no right way to do it. We just want to advise you like the best strategies that we see and like how to ultimately like optimize yourself for the best way for your draft. And there's multiple ways to go about that. But with that said, if you haven't subscribed already, Would really appreciate if you guys dropped a subscription on here. It's entirely free. That's a nice thing about YouTube. We like to give you guys free stuff. Speaking of free stuff, if you actually DM Jackson in our Discord, which he'll post a link to our Discord here if you guys want to join that if you haven't already, he'll actually send you some free shares. We'll see if we can turn that into one of the new rookie IPOs that we just had. So perhaps you have a chance of getting like Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, or Marv or something like that.
For sure. And it should prompt you to do that. It'll give you my username once you sign up for the Discord, but just in case, it's at Jamario Moon.
Yeah. With that said, appreciate you all. Thank you for popping in. We will be back live tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern with another mock draft, so make sure to kind of get ready for that once again. But yeah, until next time, appreciate y'all. We'll talk to y'all later and see y'all later. If it goes Lamb, McCaffrey, Hill, then Bijan, who would I take with the 5th pick? Probably the best receiver available on the board. More than likely Amon St. Brown or Justin Jefferson, honestly. I don't mind Brees, but it's up to you. But until next time, peace, y'all.